Hi, Facebook. Hi, everybody. This is the imho.love show. We're about to go live here in about 90 seconds. So there we go. Welcome aboard. Fantastic show tonight. This is the show gets logged on tantalk1340.com. So all these are logged for you, and of course the homepage imho.love has the back issues. This is also being recorded on YouTube. So that's the one we post the most, is the YouTube video, because that's that little camera there. But we're just going through my personal cell phone here tonight, and I think if you guys go on yours, you can hook up live. You go to me, and then I think you can jump in live or tag. I guess I don't know that part. So, okay, you ready, Bobby?
Don't turn it off now. You need this stuff. Tampa Bay's Tan Talk Radio Network.
All right, welcome everybody. Welcome to the imho.love show. I'm Lou Angelwolf. I'm your host tonight. And another fun show about CE5. CE5, of course, is Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, which is human-initiated extraterrestrial contact through meditations and prayers. And, of course, we have a little fun, and we also have an aha moment. Maybe sharing something in history that maybe you didn't know. So, but we're on for a whole hour. The show is live. We do have special guests in the studio tonight. But if you do have any questions that pertain to our topics, 727-441-3000 is the live studio line. We got a new board up. We want to say hi to him. Hey, Bobby.
How's it going, Lou? And
Yeah.
everyone company?
Yeah. So, do you, Bobby? What's your last name?
I go by Bobby M on the air.
Bobby M. All right. Bobby M is
Yep.
our new board op. Our friend Pete, who we loved working with for years, has gone on to greener pastures. He has a different show now, and we couldn't possibly be happier for him, although we will certainly miss him. So anyway, folks, welcome aboard imho.love. IMHO is, in my humble opinion, and that's all this whole thing is one big opinion. Be it humble, be it bold. It's just an opinion. We all take a good guess. We all amalgamate our thoughts, ideas, and fractional concepts, and we spew them out into sentences for other people to try to understand. But it's all just an opinion. Ladies and gentlemen, it's always good to have my buddy here to the left. This is Derek Reichardt.
Good to see you again, Lou. Hello.
And the crowd goes wild.
Nice.
Yes. And another special guest. We haven't had a lot of ladies on this show. In fact, I think you're the first one. You may be. We're welcoming Amanda Tubinsky. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Well, you certainly are the cutest guest we've had.
And the first girl.
First girl, and by far the cutest.
I was the cutest before her.
You were the cutest. You just got bumped, dude. You just got bumped. Well, anyway, our usual friend, Michael Merberg, my co-host for several years here now. He was with me on the Lutopia podcast, and he's been here since day one on the imho.love show. Michael's off doing his Christmas gala extravaganza, which includes traveling and visiting and presenting and presenting and all that stuff. So, and he's far away. He's in a different land.
Strange land.
Yes. Were you able to find the live show?
Here.
Okay. Because I know I got lots of people checking in, but my phone's way over there, and I'm almost 60, and I can't see that little tiny print. So, yeah, we'd like to say hi to everybody on Facebook. Thank you so much for listening. and watching. And we sure enjoy doing the show for you. And like I said, the show's on YouTube and, of course, imho.love. And so here we go. What'd you find there, buddy? Did you get something on there? Oh, so. Go to Lou Angelwolf. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be right. There you go. That's me. And now you got, let's see. There we go. There we are. We're live. Go ahead and click on that and see if you're on. Does the feed pop up for you?
There we go.
Hey, look at that. There's the feed. So Derek, you can go ahead and respond. Let me see who's watching.
All right, we got Pam. We got Leroy. Nancy.
Leroy's on next week. Hi, Nancy. And
Andre
Auden. That sounds like an actor, doesn't it?
It really does.
Starring Andre Auden. So. And the commandant is Derek Reichardt. So, yeah. Well, folks, Derek and Amanda are both part of our CE5 group. We meet out there at Area 52 once a month and other times during the month if we should be so blessed. And Derek, of course, is a long-time enthusiast and also an experiencer. And so is Amanda, huh? Wow, that'd be really interesting to hear from a lady's point of view, because you always hear the guys go, "Yeah, I was there, and I was brave, and I was this, and I was that."
You don't have to be brave. It's awesome.
That's the attitude we're looking for. Very good. And hi, everybody. So, how's this sound? Facebook people? We got a little wire running from here to there. We're into all three mics and the board. So just let us know. Give us a little check, because we got some new situations happening. And that's the one thing in life that is constant. That is change. So Merberg, if you're listening, feel free to call in. If you haven't memorized the number yet, it's 727-441-3000. Now, Derek, we had a really interesting CE5 a couple of weeks ago out there at Area 52. That's the Darby Ranch. And if you go to, this is on Meetup, okay? I'm not really familiar with Meetup, but it's Ambassadors of the Universe.
CE5 Ambassadors to the Universe, yes.
Tampa Bay.
Tampa.
Yes. Okay. And you can check in there with Michael. Michael's kind of the grand poobah of this whole movement, and he can send you a list of protocols and how we do what we do and what's expected of you and not expected of you should you decide to get interested and involved. We're going to give you, you don't know, so we're going to tell you how we would like you to act and do your best. If you get hold of Michael on that, Ambassadors to the CE5 Ambassadors to the Universe, Tampa Bay, Michael will send you the protocols and start looking into this. This is an interesting thing, man. This is an interesting thing. Where a couple weeks ago we were out there, and part of our thing is we have a nice meal in the beginning, friendship and camaraderie and that kind of thing, and then we all make it out to this beautiful field. And we bring those zero gravity chairs and sleeping bags, and we all just ground with the earth and sit out there in the fresh air. And part of the CE5 contact is a meditation. And well, actually, I know you got it right on the tip of your tongue, Derek. Go ahead and just do like the first minute or so of how you get everybody started. We start with the breathing.
Okay, we definitely start with the breathing, and what I'll typically do is I like to ask people, and Lou is really good at this himself. His meditations are awesome. But we'll close our eyes and we'll start breathing in a nice 4 count. Breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold, and breathe out for another 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, and in. And as you breathe, we like to breathe in positivity and light and feel ourselves in a place of love and in a place of compassion and in a place of joy. And as we breathe out, we let go of our cares of the day, the weight that we carry with our bodies, and just let it go. And we want to be at a place where we're just at peace and just able to be. and we hold that for a moment, just bringing love and positivity into our bodies.
Yes, and you get a group of people that are, we're all friends and we're all peaceful souls, and then you start creating this energy amongst us that transcends from person to person to person to person, and you get a beautiful mind picture of it. It kind of like it starts to swirl.
Sure. What we're doing is we're sitting typically in a circle and we're holding hands and we circulate this love energy just within our own being, starting at the base of our feet, moving all the way to the top of our heads, this swirling vortex of energy that's within all of our bodies all of the time. And you could call this your life force or your kundalini, whatever term you want to come up with. But it's something that's shared. It's just this universal energy that flows through everything. The trees, the plants around us, the ground, and ourselves. And we circulate this with love, and we can think of the things that we care about the most in the world, our parents, our loved ones, our children, these things that are just pure joy. And you feel that circulating in your body, and you share it with the person to your right, and they're passing it to the person to their right, and on and on. So this joy, this love is shared with this entire group, and it swirls around us. And I like to imagine it like a ball, like a sphere that we have surrounding our group and then penetrating into the earth all around us for miles. And we envision this growing, this group shared consciousness that we have, this joy, this love. And as this sphere is going into the earth and out into space, it's changing the vibration of the entire planet.
The vibration's amazing at this point.
It is. It's awesome. And you envision it as this beacon, and this beacon calls and attracts love. And in my experience with CE5, it is all completely love-based, and we send that to the edge of the cosmos and beyond.
I know, and even though that's very true, and even though we can't see it with our human eyes, I know that in another dimension or just a slightly altered dimension of this, we're emitting some sort of light. There is some sort of beam or sensor that's coming up. This energy is making itself noticeable by the our extraterrestrial friends up there. And that's, a lot of times that's when you have, if you've prepared, you get a lot of action that night,
Sure. But you use a big word and you say, what is it really? And you could say, well, I know that all humans are telepathic to some degree. Whether you realize it or not, this is what we're doing. This is a form of telepathy, and we have a telepathic range that goes beyond the universe into different dimensions, and it's seen immediately. It doesn't have to travel at the speed of light. It transcends that. It's just this action that takes place instantly across the entire universe. It's awesome.
And our friends notice. And I think what's probably my favorite part about it is when you're out there and after you've done these cleansing prayers and these cleansing breaths, you forget about your problems. You forget the fact that you got a nail in that tire and there's a slow leak. You forget about septic tank issues. You forget about, I forgot to pick up my shoes at the repair place. You forget all these little issues, and then you really can kind of flood your mind with the pureness. And that happened to me. I was standing, I think you were between us, Amanda, and as the meditation went around, I had a vision of a healing, of a human being healed by a doctor type figure or a nurse type figure, when there was a removal of a bandage or a patch, and then all this energy went out from it. And as I was into this vision, it was told to me that it was somebody in our group. So after we finished the invocation and everybody's all peaceful and mellow, I went and sat down. I went, I just met this person today, so I don't want to come off like a nut job. But
you're at CE5.
The CE5, there's some wide margins there. So I went over and I shared with them, and they said it was amazing. It was something that was paralleling their life that day, about a family sickness, and that vision was for them, and it was a vision of healing. And that's there's a lot of times this extraterrestrial contact, because you're dealing with such a stronger, more pure energy that isn't tainted by insurance companies. The healing can really flow forward, and that alone is worth the exploration to me. And we got a call, Bobby?
I know that was just general business.
Oh, okay. Oh, your weeds here? Okay, I get it.
That's what's so great about CE5 that I found, though, is, you don't really have to be intimidated to have these conversations, and everyone is very loving and open as you go there. I have a successful CE5 every time before we even go into the field. Just, having dinner with these people and meeting these wonderful folks that have the best attitudes, the best stories, and are all there for a reason. And you come to realize that everything in the universe happens for a reason. For whatever reason, all of these people have gathered with this similar interest. Something drew them there that night, and we discover why before we even go outside. It's
really
awesome.
True. Now, Amanda, thank you and welcome to the IMHO show.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, tell us, give us a little background on your experience. How did you get so interested? I know you travel with this handsome guy sometimes. But...
Yeah, that helps too. So prior to joining in with the CE5 group, luckily I was raised with, my folks are super open on, spirituality and find your own path and just get out there and try everything. Like, go be whoever you want to be and go figure it out.
Be all you can be without getting the stupid haircut.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I missed that one.
So I was, totally allowed to kind of explore whatever I wanted to and whatever I was drawn to.
Nice.
And what's interesting is that when I came into the kind of the CE5 family, and that's certainly how I feel about it.
Yes.
Like everybody there is, as Derek was saying, everybody comes from a different background, but everybody's drawn there for a reason. Everybody ends up there with similar ties, and I found that to be very true. And that a lot of the things that I in my childhood was experiencing, I'm not weird anymore within the CE5 group.
Yeah.
It's completely open. You can have a conversation with everybody else, and everybody's experiencing these same things.
If you think you're strange,
just come to CE5 and you're normal. It's awesome. So as a kid, having experiences just more or less with spirits and things like that, not as much on the ET level. But being open to everything that's out there and being in touch with, there's definitely energies that are flowing around us. And for people that are kind of maybe just touching on CE5 or touching on these sort of things for the first time, I think it's just so important to know that it's really inclusive. You don't need to be, have something kind of bestowed upon you to be able to figure this out or to be able to have contact with the greater powers that are out there. You just have to be open to it, and
a nice pure curiosity.
Absolutely. And just being open and willing to, invite everything in and share that love and joy and, send it up, and, experiences happen, and it's just amazing. It really is. Now,
what have you personally seen? What encounters have you had?
So my very first CE5, there were a lot of...
How long ago was this? Last year?
Was it? No, it was this year. Earlier this year. Yeah.
Okay.
Probably June or July.
It was June or July.
Okay.
Yeah, this year.
Okay.
And so my very first CE5 experience, man, it was a busy night. There was a lot of, I don't know how, what you want to qualify them as, phenomena or things going on, flashes in the sky, things, lights responding to laser beams, or the, just sending up your love into the sky. And
I think we're flirting with them with the little laser beam.
Sure.
Yes.
We're like, hey, sailor.
We're like, hey, here we are.
We're down here in the field.
How are
See us?
you?
We're laying in the field, like it. So.
Absolutely. But there was so much going on, and honestly, pretty much every CE5 that I've attended, there's been all kinds of things going on, whether it be visual representations that we see up in the sky, or you might hear something, and you can always just feel that there's something there with you. And it's always, it's not frightening for people that are kind of concerned as to whether or not something's going to get them, but that's not it at all. It's just pure love and joy. And when you see something, like, that's what it is, because it just hits you in the chest.
Well,
it's amazing.
And when you see something like nothing you've ever seen before. I want to say hi to some people. Kat Carroll and there's Marie. Hi, Marie. And my cousin Renee up in upstate New York. And that's kind of where I got my initial download. A couple people, if you listen to the show all the time, you've probably heard this, but I'll make it brief. My mother was carrying me in her 8th month as a baby. And she was out at the well getting water because they needed extra water for the house. It was an old farmhouse. It was actually like a 1924 Sears mail order house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's kind of where I grew up when I was little. We had a dairy farm, and then those chickens and all that. So anyway, my mom's out there with her mother, my nanny, and over the field comes this giant saucer about 50, 60 feet wide. And it has little red lights all around the corner, all around the circumference of it. And my mother, who's standing there with, a 5-gallon bucket in one hand and then big blue coffee pots that they used to use back in Little House on the Prairie days. And she's got the big coffee pot and she holds it up to the spacer. She goes, "Hey, fellas, you want a coffee? I'll put on a pot." So my mother greets the extraterrestrials with humor. And then she said that she felt very comfortable, very warm and nice. They weren't afraid at all.
That's an interesting point. Do you remember when we're sitting out in the circles, not just meditating, but when we start telling jokes, they seem to appear then too?
Yes, that's true. They love the laughter.
They do.
They love the laughter. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's a book idea, at least an article. So I believe I got my download that night in utero. Okay. And then the saucer moved over the house and it sat there for a couple minutes. They said they had a good 5 to 7 minute visual of it. I mean, they looked at it and then it just scampered off across the fields. So Renee, if you're listening, Uncle Dennis's house is where all this happened at the old manual pump well. And so amazing. And I got to tell you, and I say it often, I've never felt completely at home here on this earth. I've always felt that this is, I'm here and
it's a little off,
and I'm digging it, but this ain't the deal. This is not all of it, and it's not to be taken that seriously. And now this attitude has progressed as I've gotten a little older, but I've always had that with me. I've always carried that really, I mean, things can get pretty bad. You can get bummed out and have all issues, and life is just frantic and blah, 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 blah. But what that is too is that's the world just colliding into you, and you're trying to do a much more pure path. You're trying to really get it going, but you're getting tripped all the time. It's like just all the little obstacles. And but what's nice is as you grow and as you meditate, the breathing is so important. You just forget to breathe. I forget to breathe all the time. I mean, I breathe for survival, but I forget to
really breathe.
I forget to do the deep cleansing breaths, which clear your mind. They regulate your heartbeat. I mean, what that does for you is just tremendous, and it also will help you sort your issues out way faster than posting them on Facebook and seeing how many of your friends think what's wrong with you. This is a much cleaner way, and you're going to get a true answer from here. All you're getting again, opinions. So anyway, this. So this is a lifelong thing for me. This isn't just a hobby or just another show I'm doing here on Tan Talk. I've probably done it's like this is my 5th or 6th show on here. I love this little studio. It's just, to me, it's so Americana. It's just a beautiful little modest. I'm sure it makes enough money to stay open.
I like it. We have a blast here.
And we love the just the atmosphere is good. We got to get rid of this big apparatus here, though, so you can see my beautiful guests and me. So, but
looks like that steampunk spider and that Will Smith cowboy movie. Wild Wild
the
West.
steampunk spider.
That's the first time I've heard that in all my years working here.
The steampunk spider. That's
There it is.
rock on. That's the best name for it.
It is.
And we'll archive it. We'll make a nice case for it.
Yeah.
But we really should have some nice low mics. Because, back when this was radio, this was great. This was the Don Imus special, But this is a little bit cloggy these days. There's much more streamlined things to do. Especially because, we're on the YouTube podcast over here. We're on Facebook over here. And we're also broadcasting this show. If you live in the Tampa Bay area and you don't want to look at us, but I can't imagine you wouldn't want to look at Amanda or Derek or me. Whatever. You can listen to the show on 1340 AM. And it's also on 1450 AM. No, 1400 AM. Yeah. That's out by
That's Zephyr Hills.
Zephyr Hills.
1400.
And where's 1350?
1350 is Dade City.
Dade City. Okay. And we're at the Heat 106.1 FM. So
And 104.3 FM in Zephyr Hills.
whoa!
Yep.
Dude, spanning the globe in a constant variety of sports. So there's all that. And of course, the show is going to be on imho.love. It's going to be on YouTube. It's currently on Facebook, and these all get archived. And so now Facebook knows just how kooky we all are. So in the studio with Derek Reichardt and the lovely Amanda, and we're sharing what we learned to know about our CE5 experiences. As you start to look this up, the CE5, which stands for Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, and of course there's one, one is like, hey, hi, and that's the other thing too I want to clarify for people. If you do get involved with CE5, it's not like we have the ability to summons down, a craft.
No, they're not trained dolphins at SeaWorld or anything.
And have them open the slow door and ascend down the steps.
There is that hope.
Well, yeah. And
Fingers are crossed.
Yeah, that would be the ultimate CE5.
Yes.
That would move you all the way up to CE1.
There you go.
Or would that be 3? Anyway,
Yeah.
what's 1?
One is a flyby, right?
Oh, okay.
Is that what it is?
I should get
Seeing the craft far away. 2 is a landing.
Uh-huh.
3 is meeting them
Right?
face to face.
Right.
4 is the abduction scenario.
Uh-huh.
And 5 is our human initiated contact. Yes.
Yeah, we're on this thing, man.
Yes.
We're making a game out of it. And it's fun.
The game of life.
Yes, and so don't like be spooked and think that you're going to get abducted. And of course, what does everyone say when they think of aliens? Are you going to get probed? Huh? They're going to probe you? No, and in fact, that's like the worst joke in our. Oh, that's the most hack joke amongst CE5. It's like that's really all you got. That's the humor you brought was the probe joke. Okay. Anyway, but I'm a stand-up comic, so I'm a little persnickety. Yeah, a little persnickety about these things. But it is funny how that is like the reflex thing. You mentioned something about extraterrestrials or aliens. Or
Well, you look at what everyone's been fed about extraterrestrials their entire life.
They can't help it,
it's
can they?
horribly negative. You don't have a whole lot of movies like Close Encounters of the Third Kind or things where they were positive. It's always, probing and abduction and gloom and doom. We're taught to hate this threat, this giant cosmic threat. When we're through being ticked off at other countries, we can be ticked off at something cosmic, I guess.
We don't want our humans to find out about the undeniable source of love.
Absolutely not.
We don't want them communicating with it. Then they'll realize all of our governmental systems are bullshit.
Correct.
Sorry.
And then life becomes fun.
Baloney. They're baloney is what they are.
That's better.
You missed the call. Sorry about it. I get a little riled up from time to time.
Okay.
And, but it doesn't happen often. But maybe later. Anyway, So and folks, you got to just know. I've been going through this. We're about to go to break here. If there's things in your mind and you're looking at it on TV, you're looking at it on the internet, and you got all these blinking lights looking at you, and you're going, I don't quite trust that information. Please go with your gut, because you might be right, because they're all opinions anymore, and the government and the media companies are basically the same thing, and they design everything for you to see, look, touch, and listen to. But not us. This is the IMHO show, and we're here to tell you about the other side of that rock. We're going to take a break here in just a little bit, folks. We got to go to news, and we'll be back with Derek and Amanda right after the break, about 6 minutes from now. So if you want to go make yourself a smoothie, I think you got time. So Lou Angelwolf, see you in about 6 minutes. Thanks for listening. Oh, we can stay on with Facebook. All right.
WTAN, Clearwater,
FM 106.1,
WDCF, Dade City, Tampa Bay, WZHR, Zephyr Hills,
FM 104.3.
Listen.
Husak. Victory over ISIS in Syria claimed by President Trump in a video released by the White House.
Our boys, our young women, our men, they're all coming back, and they're coming back now.
Yeah.
We won.
Hi, Facebook,
that's the way
everybody.
And that's the way.
Hey, Donna.
Republican Senator
Janine, love
Liz
you
Graham
too,
says
baby.
people celebrate when troops come
Kat,
home, but you can't
Marie,
celebrate false security.
You're tired of fighting radicalism.
Pamela,
They're not tired of
Nancy,
fighting. And if you don't get that,
yeah.
Trump's plan to exit of some 2,000 U.S. troops
Leroy.
from the
There's
Islamic
Marie.
State's
I'm glad you're
2014
feeling
rise
better, Marie.
marks a reversal of American military strategy in the Middle East.
And,
the Washington Post reports
Derek,
Special Counsel
on.
Robert
Hi.
Mueller asked
Right
the House Intelligence Committee for an official transcript of Trump advisor Roger Stone's testimony.
Okay.
House Intelligence
Cool.
Committee
Thanks
member
for
Jim
sending the
Hines
love.
suggests
Appreciate
if the reports
it,
are true,
Michael is away on
if he has evidence that Roger Stone
break,
lied to Congress,
so,
and just in the last couple of weeks, he has
next week, and I
brought
do
charges
believe
to
we're
people
having
for lying to
Leroy's
Congress. What that
funeral,
gives him
I guess.
is real leverage with Roger Stone.
Yeah,
He said,
and I also
"Now
have
is the
a
moment where
comic
you
buddy
come
of mine,
you might have
Steve
said you would
Mingola,
never testify against Donald Trump,
who
but
had
look at the charges we have here and think about spending
sighting,
the rest of your days in prison.
not long ago.
The Attorney
So he
General in the
wants to
nation's
call and share
capital
that
filed
with
a
us.
lawsuit against
nice.
Facebook
On
for
the air. That'll be
allowing
next
data
week.
mining firm Cambridge
Mingola
Analytica to
is
improperly
really,
access
really
data from
funny
as many as
stand-up
87 million
comic, and a good
users.
buddy of mine
DC
for
Attorney
many,
General
many years.
Carl Racine
And
says
it's interesting.
Facebook misled
and
users because it knew
you know,
about the data collection
there's
for
almost
2
like
years before
a
disclosing it. The prospective fines for privacy violations
like a
rose to
mindset
$1.7
or a
billion. Jan Johnson, Washington.
kind of a
Stocks
being
closed lower.
that
The
we
Dow
all
dropped
kind of
352
are. You know,
points.
we're
The
all.
S&P 500
I
lost
think
39
the
points.
more
And the
CE5
Nasdaq shed
people you meet,
147
you
points.
That's what
find
you're
today.
getting at, yeah.
And Barbara
we don't
Keith
watch
said,
regular TV.
No, as a mentality.
Yeah, we don't. You know, we're
and if your teeth are stained from coffee,
as a
tea,
rule,
or
I'm not a
smoking,
joiner.
swabs is
I
the
don't
answer. In 5
join
minutes,
a
you'll
lot
see
of
2
things.
shades
It
whiter
really
teeth,
has to
and
be
in
something
7
that's
days,
good
6
with
shades.
my.
Yeah, you're not
There's
Steve
no
Clark's
icy
good
strips or
joiner.
trays.
Yeah,
You swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done.
You know,
To try power
and,
shots, call 1-800-679-0969.
Groucho Marx says,
Your bright white
I don't think I want to belong to a club that would have me as a member. There you go.
1-800-679-0969. You got your friend, you got Mike, you got Buddy in New York, you're all
Have you tried that
Canadians.
trendy dating app? You can have
there's something
months
to
of
that.
frivolous
Yeah,
fun
there is something
with
about
people
the
who just love
humor
to play
that
games.
inflects.
But if you're ready for something more grown up,
amongst us.
try the Match
And,
app. Over
and I think what
30,000
it
new
is
people a day
is
are heading to
if you
Match
have
for
that
grown up
ability,
conversations that lead to great dates
to
and
laugh,
beyond. Our listeners that go to Match.com
and
can start for free
notice
today.
your
View
own
photos
ridiculousness.
and
That's
informative
why-
profiles
see,
to
that's
get a
where
deeper sense of the
the
people you'd
political
like to
correctness
meet.
is
Start for
robbing
free
humor.
today at
You know,
Match.com. That's
and I'm not
Match.com.
into bullying or making.
If you would like to become a wholesale buyer of the premium quality longevity product that you hear about right here on the Tan Talk Radio Network, for personal service, you can pick up the phone right now and call Lola at 727-441-3311. Again, that's Lola at 727-441-3311. Or for even faster service, log on to tantalkhealth.com. That's tantalkhealth.com. Here's your health and longevity.
Oh, that's cool. We'll do that next week. Okay. Yeah.
Are you looking for some great restaurants? For some great wines, where are the great chefs? Listen to Dine Out Radio Heard every Wednesday on the Tan Talk Radio Network. 12 to 1 p.m., we'll tell you where all the great events are. We'll have Food and Wine Magazine and Bon Appetit Magazine. We'll have their editors and writers on each month. And maybe we'll throw in a couple surprises. Check out the website, diningoutradio.com.
My bridges are...
Show me the money. It's the Employment Opportunity Hour with Gene Hodge every Thursday night from 7 until 8.
So the purpose of the show is to help you out there to find something that you enjoy doing instead of a job. And at the start of the show, I normally give out a formula, which I know will guarantee you to find the type of job that you want right now.
Find out the formula to an enjoyable job with Gene Hodge's Employment Opportunity Hour every Thursday night from 7 until 8 here on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Show me the money.
Don't miss the Craft Beer Hour every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. We'll bring you up to speed on craft beer events and festivals, local breweries, and interview the brains behind the brews. So grab a pint and listen to the Craft Beer Hour every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. right here on the Tan Talk Radio Network, and visit the website, thecraftbeerhour.com.
How did you truck it off?
But that's how those craft beer people are.
I think we just found a transformer.
This is Optimus Primal, leader of the Auto Part Junkies. And I'm calling on all auto parts junkies to listen to nostalgic radio and cars every Tuesday at 7 p.m. here on Tan Talk. This is Optimus Primer Button. If you don't tune in, it will be the end of the world.
Hi, this is Prior Smith speaking from Toronto. Join me Monday through Friday at 9 a.m., again at 12 noon, for Canada Calling, the update of news from home for vacationing Canadians in this network's 65th season. Canada Calling, a listening tradition right here on the Tan Talk Network, WTAN AM 1340 and FM 106.1, WZHR Zephyr Hills, AM 1400 and FM 104.3, and WDCF Dade City, AM 1350.
Don't turn it off now. You need this stuff. Tampa Bay's Tan Talk Radio Network.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to imho.love. I'm Lou Angelwolf in the studio with Derek and Amanda. We're talking about CE5 and lots of fun stuff. Lots of fun stuff going on here. And then just trying to, it's a new, the CE5 topic is new for a lot of people. They're not, you know, they don't really understand what it is. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to do a little, just a little primer. So if you're interested about these kind of things, and see, it's almost like we were just talking about it in the break. Thanks everybody on Facebook for listening in. It's almost like after a while, like a lot of people I know that communicate with, they don't stay home and watch television. They are not, you know, they're not into the thing. You know, they're not, you know, hanging on the edge of their seat for America's Got Talent.
We call it lamestream quackademia.
Lamestream quackademia.
Yes.
Rock on. So, and if you like things that are a little more eclectic and to me, very interesting.
And probably closer to the truth.
And probably. One day.
In my humble opinion.
And really what it is, the CE5, like Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, extraterrestrial contact through meditation and prayer. And Derek, share the story that you and Amanda were out there in her first, you were there, standing right next to her as you saw your first anomaly.
You know, that was one of the most incredible experiences of my life. Aside from seeing your first celestial or ET craft or whatever you want to call it, she came to our first CE5 together, and it was just amazing being able to have that conversation with another human and be able to invite them to something like this and have them go along with it.
Right.
There's not a whole lot of relationships like that I've seen on this planet. So that was just an honor to be able to bring her and her be open-minded to something like this. So she'd gone through the protocols, the meditations. She'd listened to them on airplanes, at home, just kind of preparing herself. And that's why when Mike talks about doing your homework and doing the protocols before you show up, it's certainly quite important. And she shows up. She had a long day, got off a plane and came to CE5 and had a spot ready for her there. And it wasn't too long after she arrived that she saw her first undeniable craft up in the sky, where you absolutely know that's not an airplane, not a helicopter, not a drone, not any of these things, that this is something intelligent that you just haven't seen in your life to that point, perhaps.
Right.
And I saw it as well, but immediately looked at her face, and just the knowing, the knowing on her face was there. It was prevalent. And all of a sudden in that split second, you realize that the universe is this much bigger place. and all of that was written on her face, just this wonder and this amazement and this joy. And I'll never forget that my entire life. It was incredible.
Well, that's a big boost up.
And let me tell you, like, within just a single instant of seeing it, you just know. Like,
your life changes too.
Even though you are, if prior to that, you're open to understanding, you're open to knowing it, and you're open to experiencing it. But the second you see it, like, you're instantly changed, and there's no going back.
Yes, well, and that's exactly right. And the more of these supernatural things that are revealed to us in our lives, what we, and really what it is, it's helping us return to source. I have the big picture view. We come here to the earth perfect. We're full of innocence, and then as we grow older, people start telling us stuff, and they're lying to us. They don't mean to be.
Sure, they're not ill-intentioned for the most part. Some of them are, but most of them aren't.
For the most part, they're well-intended, but a lot of the stuff that they told us
is crap.
It is crap, and a fairy doesn't come and give you $1 for a tooth. It just doesn't happen. So,
but there could be fairies.
Well, there could be fairies.
There could be fairies.
Yeah, I don't doubt there could be fairies. I lived in San Francisco for a while. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, thanks, Bob. Anyway, that was cheesy.
That was awesome.
I'm so cheesy sometimes, but so what this does is it lets you know that all those little drifty thoughts that you had could be way more legitimate than you had ever thought, and then as you get older, you pick up more and more stuff that doesn't sit right with you, and then you gather all this information, and then by the time you're in your teens, you're full of 10 different people that were influential in your life, and you got their opinions, their options, their ideas, their thoughts, their curses, whatever that they're blurting out. And these all landed on you, and you absorbed all these little chips of information. And now you're getting to the point where your mind is functioning more as an adult, and you're starting to form bigger opinions. And what happens is, after a while, and I don't know, it's different for everybody, but you get so full of bad information that you just can't stand it anymore.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
You get so confused inside your own head, and that's where a lot of people, they start turning to drugs.
You can get stuck there, definitely,
and alcohol abuse, and it's just, you're trying to remedy the confusion is really what it is.
Yes,
and
they're medicating their confusion.
Yes, just soak it in alcohol; it'll come out fine.
Sure.
And I gotta tell you, there's a lot of us out here, folks, and you're welcome aboard at any time to the imho.love show. You're welcome at any time to join in with us here, and even if you just listen to perhaps a little meditating time, because this show is pretty peaceful sometimes, and we don't suggest listening to it on long, dark car drives.
There you go.
You should get very mesmerized. But no. So anyway, and then you just reach this point of saturation, and you go, that's it, I got to do something. And that's where a lot of people, they'll just bug out and they'll move to Tibet. They'll bug
Can't
out.
blame them.
Yeah.
It's an option.
Yeah. They'll change jobs. They'll change partners. They'll change professions. They'll change states. They'll just go to, and again, trying to remedy the confusion inside their head. And that's where I think a lot of people have, for lack of a better term, a reborn scenario happen in their life, where they surrender all this junk, all this garbage, all this lies that they've accumulated over the years, and they empty it. And now you're empty and you're ready to receive new information. And of course, the old information is going to want to jump back in as soon as possible. But with these kind of meditations and this kind of clear thought, you don't have to take up that much space on your hard drive with crummy thoughts and non-productive thoughts. You can really reprogram yourself. You can reprogram your whole life with this new beginning. And what you're doing is you're returning to your innocence. You've been missing your innocence for a long, long time, and now you want it back. And this is the CE5 movement is so calm and peaceful, and it's there's as little ego as possible happening out there. And because ego can trip up almost any project. But this, nobody's making money on it. Nobody's getting famous over it. All we're doing is we're sharing this vehicle of clarity
and enrichment, and it's so worth every moment.
Yeah, and from way out there, if you've never experienced anything like this, it sounds like an odd thing, but give it a little bit of time, give it a little bit of movement, let it work in your life a little bit, and really too, you don't need a whole group to do a CE5. Two people. I mean, our first CE5 there was three of us, and it was me, Rose, and Michael, and that we had a lot of sightings. It was the sky was really popping that night with just three of us, but our intentions were very pure, and so what I'm saying is once you understand what it is that you're trying to do, or we're trying to tell you you can do, is you can have a CE5 group with yourself, or just a friend, or a couple friends. You don't need a big production. You don't have to have a podcast over it or anything. You can just do it. And that grounding part where you're sitting out in the earth, communing with our mother, and just lay in there and just not. I've had some of the most beautiful, clear thoughts out there, and just your mind fills with fantasies and ideas and things that you wish were different, things that you wish were better, things that you wish, things that you're happy about that are gone. I mean, it's just this. You can really get to a nice level of gratitude if you do take that time with yourself. And now, Derek, you are also interesting. Okay, there's Kat Carroll. She says, my experiences were solo and undeniable.
My first ones were solo too. That's awesome. I get it.
I couldn't even see it when it happened to me. So there was no porthole in my mom's belly button. So, but
the download happened.
Yes. But the download, and I got to tell you, I am so at peace with it now at this stage in my life. It's really quite beautiful. So what we're trying to tell you is this is the new thing, or it's an ancient thing. It's just being presented again to you in a wonderful way. This is the exo-consciousness. This is a consciousness outside of yourself. outside of church settings, outside of organized religion or groups or activities or corporations or whatever. This is something you can totally experience and do on your own, or with a small group of friends. It's so pure. It's so pure because there's really nothing to taint it. It's you surrendering your ideas, taking your deep breaths, clearing your mind as close as you can get, and then just bringing in new loving energy, exhaling old used up energy, and you're just kind of refreshing. Your blood loves it, your heart loves it, all your organs love it, and then you get into these meditations and you can find all this beautiful stuff about yourself. And then I think what happens, like when you have a really poppin' night out there, is when everybody's like on the same page. We're all there. And sometimes you have new people or strangers or whatever, and of course they're totally welcome, but they may not be in the same groove
zone.
Yeah, and maybe that can slow things down a little bit. But there's some nights when everybody's dialed in. I mean, it's like, hey, look at that! Hey, look at that! I mean,
yeah,
it's really amazing stuff. What's the most interesting piece, you guys? What's the most interesting entity or vision that you saw, Amanda?
There's been actually a couple. There was
what do they look like?
One was like really large and kind of like zipping across the sky, but not like anything, not like your shooting star or anything like that. I mean, just so much larger and brilliant and bright and sparkling and gold and white and just all these brilliant shades that you would not normally see if it were a star or something of that nature. It was just amazing. And then another was, all I could describe it as is it was a huge...
The beach ball?
The beach ball, yes. This is exactly what I'm getting at. Other than it being a perfectly cylindrical ball in the sky that came down into the trees across the field, and then in just a split instance appeared where it had come down from one angle, and then it was in the trees to the side of us, just perfectly bright white, not necessarily like emitting light, but just a bright white, just as white as if it were a sheet of paper cut into a circle, the size of a beach ball, in the trees. It's just one of those things, nothing within your normal sphere of understanding of science would explain how this beautiful white circle of light is just here with us. It was... Yes.
Well, those energy orbs are wonderful, and Pamela is she has her energy attracts them too. In fact, she got some really good pictures several months ago of some really good orb energies out there.
I remember my favorite night too.
What was that?
It was March 20th or 21st. It was spring solstice, which spring equinox, which was interesting because when you talk about things being ancient, this practice being ancient, you realize that the ancients were tuned into the cosmos a lot more than we are. They were looking up. But we had just had our dinner inside, and we hadn't even come out to begin our meditation, not even to sit in a circle. And there were flashes in the trees, those oak trees.
Oh, the orbs.
Yeah. And they
were like
an
orb party.
It was an orb party, and it went on all night. They were flashing in the trees literally 30 feet away. You could go stand in the trees and have them flashing above you, these lights. And you could even say things to them. You could say, if you can hear me, stop and flash 4 times. And sure enough, it would stop and flash 4 times.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Ask Mike about it. This was one of the craziest nights we've ever had there. It was March of last year.
Wow.
Incredible. It went on all night. These flashes in, on, and around the trees all night long. It was beautiful.
Yeah, that's cool, man. One of the coolest things that I've seen out there at Area 52 is this, and I've seen them twice, is a red bar. It's a solid bar, and it teeter-totters back and forth. And I've seen it twice. And it stays for a good amount. It stays for several seconds, so you can really get a good look at it, and then it just fades out like that, and really. I don't know what it is. I don't know, but then you don't know what any of this stuff is. But what I'm saying is, that's something that, and just the color of it, the luminescence of it. If this is all a government trick, they've got some.
Good job.
They've got some really good stuff. They got some. You know what though? They really do have some good stuff, and we'll talk about. We'll have a dark IMHO one night.
I like that.
Yeah, and
I'm in on that one.
Yeah. and the fact that the government could possibly be doing all
Some of
these
this,
things, or not.
Okay.
But the way that they can project, like the fighter jets, the American fighter jets have a projector system inside them that they can project another jet. So the enemy jet will see 2 jets or 4 jets. They have the ability in that warfare to show it.
Sounds like a Rick and Morty episode. Yeah.
It does sound like a Rick and Morty episode. But also, too, the projection capabilities are absolutely tremendous, and I believe that they were also used in the 9/11 events.
There's a lot of good evidence that shows that you might be correct, that you can't rule that out completely.
Especially that wing that disappears behind a building for a second.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah.
How's that happen? It doesn't happen unless it's a projection, unless you're dealing with pixels. It doesn't happen with real airplanes. And, one day we're just going to dig in on 9/11. And the other thing, too, that if an aluminum airplane hit a steel girdered building at, they're saying 500 miles an hour, it would smash itself into the side and slide down.
And the building would be fine.
It would not go into the building like a hot knife through butter.
They don't build those airplanes to be heavy, no.
They're not heavy. Well, next time you fly, Bobby, you especially, next time you fly, when you're going onto the plane, knock on the fuselage. It's
thin.
It's I don't know, that thick. Do you really think that thickness of aluminum could penetrate
girdered steel?
And when the World Trade Center was being built, it was deemed one of the architectural wonders of the universe in its strength and ability. They go, this thing is going to last forever.
The lead architect said it was specifically designed to withstand an aircraft strike.
Right.
Specifically.
Right. Even though, because they already knew that from, what was the project in 60? Well, actually, it started in like 50, 51 or 52. And then they had the Bay of Pigs thing.
Is that Northwoods?
Northwoods.
Yes.
Project Northwoods.
Yes.
Them knowing that kind of thing was on the books. And I think what it is sometimes they just get an idea like that and they go, we got to try that. Let's try that. And for as much as all that craziness involves is, everybody's, and people that believe the straight government line or the 9/11 report, I really feel bad for you. Please go back and
use some discernment.
America's Got Talent is on, and they're about to choose a semifinalist. So please don't bother.
Can I tell a positive story?
Sure, please.
I want to talk about the night I met Amanda.
Oh, okay. Well, that'd be wonderful.
I was
look at
outside.
her light up like that.
We'd been talking online. We hadn't met in person, and I was doing my CE5 thing. Had meditated all day.
And you never saw her. She never gave you a picture.
I didn't know what she looked like at first. No, she
had like a picture of her cat or something.
No picture at all. She just
the silhouette.
She actually asked questions that were relevant to my profile. It was astounding. There was somebody with a brain engaging me in conversation. So I was captivated. I didn't know what she looked like at first. But I went out and was doing a CE5 on my patio and saw a specific craft that I'd seen before. scintillating golden lights, and it was there. And when I see craft, I try to concentrate on what I was thinking about in the moments before, because they can be significant. I was thinking about reaching out to her, so I asked her what she was doing, if she wanted to see. It was Star Wars Day. It was May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. And reached out to her, and she wanted to see me, and so I drove out. We met, had a wonderful evening, and got along great. Just, the most incredible first date ever. And the night that we had our first CE5 together, where she saw that craft for the first time, that one was back again. That scintillate. So it appeared over Area 52 that night. So I like to think we have our own fan club or matchmaker or whatever you want to call it. Our relationship was cosmically guided.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Derek Reichardt, Amanda, thank you so much for coming in. Mike Merberg will be back next week. Travel safely, buddy. May the wind be at your back.
We miss you.
Yeah, we miss you a lot. That's my Wikipedia. Man, that guy's he's
awesome.
He's got it. He's so damn smart. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is the imho.love show. I'm Lou Angelwolf. This show is about, in my humble opinion, and we've presented them for the last hour or so. Thank you, everybody that listened in. Feel free to like and share the show. You can go to imho.love. We'll have all these shows are archived. They're also on tantalk1340.com. They're going to be on Tantalk 1340's YouTube channel. And not on your website, but on your YouTube channel. Okay, but there's a link, right? Okay.
Correct.
All right, very good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening in to the show. We're back next Wednesday night with our special guest, Leroy Spooner. And Merberg will be back, and maybe even my comic buddy, Steve Mingola. Love you so much, everybody. Thanks for listening. Have a lovely holiday, whatever you're celebrating. And we'll see you on the 26th. Ciao. Nice job. You did a killer job. You were wonderful.
State. This is Tampa Bay's Tan Talk.
Hey, right here at your radio station. It's the music of your life on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Yeah, all of that 9/11 stuff.
What a rule. My final summation after 7 years. It was the Israeli Mossad that did it under American direction. It was to cover up the $2.3 trillion the day before. He's like Cuomo. Good job, Bob. Oh, wait, we're still live.